All right, welcome back to GameChanger. So in this video, we got Lil Zach. I'm super cool with his pops and his pops brothers. So it's dope for me to get to cut off Lil Zach's hair. He's been rocking a drop fade with the curls on top, a very beautiful, thick, curly hair texture, which I love. So to start this off, what I'll do is I always whenever I'm doing large cuts like this, large mass amounts of hair off at one time, I always start with a guard a size or two bigger than the desired length. Meaning, if little Zach was getting a one, I may start with a three or a two, but that's determined by the density of the client's hair. Little Zach has a very he has a very good dense hair, meaning his hair isn't thin in certain spots. So I started with a two guard, cut it down, and what I'm doing is I'm looking for swirls, any misplaced growth patterns that I wouldn't see while the hair is long. So I'm really doing a study analysis, like boom, right there. You see that multiple growth pattern? I can tell, see right all up in there. So if I would have started with little Zach's desired hair length, I would have put a big old gash in his head. So now what I do is my first step, can I manipulate this hair to lay it down the proper way? Because that's a cowlick. That's like a multiple growth pattern on the side of his head. So what I'll do after I cut it down, I'll kind of cut it to the desired length, use my shaving cream or my hot lather to manipulate the hair to see if I can get it to grow or lay the way that it's naturally supposed to grow. Another common place for these multiple growth patterns is along the edge of cowlicks, swirls. You want to look for things like that. That's another reason to start with a larger guard. Also, young kids, his hair isn't fully developed yet, meaning he's still going to have thinner spots, usually around the perimeter, the edge up, the temple, and sometimes behind the ear. We're having a little fun right there. So if you look right there, there's so many different growth patterns in Lil Zach's head because his curls have been just free and wild. So I want to tame them, lay their hair down, and reconstruct a nice growth pattern. So now I'm coming with a 1.5. So I'll slowly do it. I'll do 2, 1.5, then I'll come with the 1. But in between me doing that 1, I believe I'm going to use right here, hot lather. Boom, see that? What it does is that hot lather, it softens up that hair shaft, the cuticle, the outer layer of the hair shaft. So now I can manipulate that hair, not by brushing, I can comb it in the proper growth pattern. So that way we can manipulate it so that when they want to brush it, restyle it, we've retaught that hair how it should lay. So that's what I'm doing right here. Don't say I ain't never told you nothing. It's free game. So I'm combing it, spacing the hair, letting that compressed curl, which is a wave, lay down in the proper growth pattern to see if we can get some of those multiple growth patterns out of there. Does that make sense? Then I come back with the warm rag for about 15 or 20 seconds, depending on how warm the rag is. Let that water swell into that cuticle, into that hair shaft. And then we just kind of wipe it down. And look at that, boom. See how his hair is laying so much better. A good haircut is all about manipulating your workspace, your canvas. And that comes with experience. So hopefully in these videos, I can kind of give you some of the experience, the tools and tricks and gems that I've learned over the years in a few videos. Remember, I'm still dropping that course. Don't know when, but I'm working on it. And shout out to our cosmetic line of GameChanger Shave Gel. So after I let his hair dry, now it's time to get that money, man. It's time to get to it. When you're doing the high taper with no curves, it's very important to know how long that vertical part of the hairline is, because some people have narrow vertical lines. For the narrow ones, we don't want to start that primary line, which was that bald line that I put in. We don't want to start it too high because you're not giving yourself enough space to do that 2-line method. So little Zach's vertical lines aren't that long. So I started his primary line very low. Primary line separates the hair from the skin. That secondary line that I just put in separated the light hair from the dark hair. Now what I'm doing is I'm blending that primary line into the primary section. Right here, before I blend that secondary line right there, I debulk it, right? Little Zach's hair, again, is still developing. So he has a few density spots, not gonna call them issues, I'll just call it undeveloped. So I wanna debulk that as well, because when he leaves, I want his hair to look super sharp and fresh. I don't even want people to know that he went through a transition cut. Okay, so I debulk a little farther so that way I can get into those thin areas, right? To make them look more natural and more concurrent. I think that's the wrong word, but to make them like they flow with the natural hair density that he has already. So after I do this right here, remember I cut with a comb, never a brush. Why do we not use a brush, class? Exactly. Because what you're doing is you're compressing that curl, you're bunching that hair together. I want to use the comb to space that hair out into its natural pattern so that way I can get a nice, flush, smooth cut. All right, so now I come with the one guard, so I debulk 1.5. One, the lighter the area, the easier to fade. So I'm not taking that secondary line away. As you can see, you can still see a line in that haircut, right? But what I'm doing is I am taking off a lot of that mass and bulk from that line. So that way, when I come back with my clippers no guard, it'll blend in super smooth. Now, another issue that you run into when cutting children is they're very fidgety. They don't mean to be. It takes patience, and you also have to have some really good reflexes to watch their movements. So I can control little Zach's head, but for the most part, I kind of gotta let him get it out of the system. So if I push him one way and he kind of slowly tilt back the other way, I kind of let him go and I just remind him maybe with a little head twist, or I talk to him, "Hello, Zach, remember we gotta stay this way." You're teaching a kid how to become a client, whether it's for you or their barber when they go off to college. You have to learn, right, how to hold the head still. And for him, he just ready to get up out of here. Look at how this is coming together. Do y'all see how simple and smooth that was? Bro. Now what I'm doing to do my notch work, to do my detail work, I'm using the corner of that blade. Instead of using the whole blade, I find certain spots where there's a little bit of a line or it's not as flush or smooth or a nice transition, and I hit that spot directly. I'm talking a lot, but I'm hoping y'all picking up what I'm putting down. Same thing in the back. Remember, Lil Zach had just got a haircut, so his hair isn't as full in the back. Keep that line low, and I'll do the exact same method in the back. Now, remember, again, around that occipital bone, right there where I just combed a little above it, the hair is thinner. He's still developing. He's still growing. His head is getting bigger. His hair has to catch up and spread or get as dense as the growth of his head. So I want to make sure that I blend or I hide that as much as possible. So in the back, since it was super light, what I'm just doing is using the corner of my clippers. I put that primary line in, skip the second line, and I'm making that thing nice and flush. Let's talk about hand movement though. Thumb on top, four fingers on bottom. And I usually like to do two main strokes, a nice whip up and stroke out, or I do a stiffer stroke that kind of focuses a lot of my energy in one area. Then I'll come back, clean it up with the one guard. All right. So y'all watch, stick around. It's almost time for the edge up. I'll be back literally in like a minute or two. All right, when edging the nape towards the nape of the neck, you want to follow the natural growth pattern and continue to remind your client, especially young ones, hey, this is important. Don't move. I'm controlling his head with my offhand, using the corner of the blade and the full blade, making that curve right around the ear, not too high, keep it nice and natural to get that look. Now, man, y'all go check out that shave gel. I promise you it's worth it. Just watch how it applies smooth aloe to keep that skin nice and lubricated, moisturized. What makes it premium is the thickness of the gel. A lot of these gels are really heavily water-based, so they slide and they glide right across their skin and they irritate the skin. This gel is a lot thicker. It doesn't move. It doesn't dry out fast, so you can work that whole surface in one pass. Man, and now when you're edging a child, see his edge up is still thin in certain spots, but it's not my job to go chasing the thickest parts just to give him a sharp edge up. His edge up gonna be fine, but when you start pushing edge ups back, the grow back is hideous. So I just keep it super nice, super natural, get the fuzz off, and I give him a nice look across. Then I come back, clean off those excess ends. I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, let me know, please, in the comments. Let's get these views back up. Let's get me back in the algorithm. If you have any questions, let's go, man. I'm trying to turn up. Go check out GameChangerCosmetics.com before and after. We out, man. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. Run these numbers up.